In today's video, I wanted to walk you through a very brief overview of how to train a setter and really even a closer through these 4 phases that we built out at high-ticketcoaching.com that is universally across the board essentially the best way to take a person from starting with you from phase 1 all the way to phase 4, where they're either booking anywhere from 3 to 5 or more calls per day as a setter, and even as a closer, making 1 to 2 closes a day and collecting cash. So I'm going to quickly share my screen real quick and just let you know what the phases are. So essentially how to train your sales team. Obviously, there's so much more to this. It can get so elaborate. Inside of our elite 7-figure leadership program, we're taking companies from 30,000 a month to past 100 grand a month. This is what we give them, right? We give them pretty much everything they need to know about running a 7-figure business, multi-7-figure business in the coaching space. And so what I want to walk through is the bird's eye view essentially of the training your sales team so you can build an unstoppable sales force. But just FYI, there is 3 other parts to this, right? There's the hiring phase, so like how to actually hire setters and closers. Training them is one thing, and then managing them is a whole nother thing. As you can see, it's all about sales tracking, of your reports, KPI charts, and we give our clients this chart right here, which is our intellectual property of how to manage setters and closers, all the different KPIs that we believe matter the most, and then showing it all up in a dashboard for your entire sales across the company. So that's what that is. But what I wanted to go through is the 4 phases here, and so I'll kind of go through it right now. Couple quick things, as fast as I can, so you can kind of get a snapshot understanding and get clear on this. What you will need is obviously someone to train. You need your person to be fully onboarded so they've access everything. You want to have training assets ready. You shouldn't just give them a script. Like, you need to have training assets, so in-house videos, so that people can actually like learn how to process an order or book a call, or all these things, like how-to videos pretty much on logistics. And then also, if you really want to get to the next level, you should have a sales training or a setter training available. For our clients inside of Elite, we actually built it all out, so they don't have to build a sales training. Like, we have a sales hub, we have a sales vault, we have a setter hub, and we have a mindset vault. So they can literally just give access to this to all of their teams in Elite, and we train them for them. So everything you can see about like the setter conversation, the workflow, everything's all built out. And so you want to have one of those. If you don't have a sales training hub, you got to create a training hub essentially for your team. And so what you want to avoid is delegating training a setter or a closer. I'm saying setter because that's what most people are looking for first. But delegating training to someone that's untrained. So if you haven't done this with one person, don't give another person to do it. So you should be doing that as a CEO until everyone has been properly trained by you, and then they can train other people. Skipping any of these phases will have consequences. Rushing through this will have consequences. Half-assing it, so like you really don't do it properly or focused, will have consequences. And thinking mistakes are bad. Like, as you train a person, as they make mistakes, that's the way they learn. That's how we all got good at something. So making a person feel bad for making a mistake is definitely a pitfall to avoid, because they will not build up confidence. And so there's 4 phases, and it's pretty much phase 1's immersion, phase 2 is shadowing, phase 3 is probation, and phase 4 is growth. Now look, I'm going to be very clear. A lot of people have different ways of doing this. What I believe is only what you need, so it's simple and easy to manage, because the more complex something is, the more confusion it causes, and confusion is the killer of action. And so we're trying to keep things as simple as possible, but everyone does a lot of different things. And I've talked to some of the teams of the biggest competitors I work with. They have the biggest problem you find is that with their ways of doing things, the retention is hard. And so I have one closer that's been working with me for years, and he has a 50 to 7% close rate, and he was a beginner when I met him. He had never sold anything in his life. And so what I'm showing you here is like pretty much the phases of how you take a person through something so that they stick with you and they're A players. So yeah, there's maybe easier ways or shorter ways of doing what I'm about to show you, but those like have a higher churn rate. Like, people will come and leave. Like, you won't keep a setter for more than maybe 30 to 60 days. Closers as well, or more than 90 days. And so that becomes very costly over time, because you may have to retrain people over and over because you're not training them properly once. So for me, I focus on retention and quality and not quantity. I don't want to have 10 setters and closers going through my company every single quarter or year. That's really inefficient and wasteful. Immersion is where you build belief in them and competence, like so they know how to do things. This is essentially where I usually get them to go over everything in my course, watch all my stuff, and pretty much get to know who I am as a person, and also build belief in what we do, see our client results. Because if they don't believe anything, they don't understand us, if they don't have a rapport with me, they're not going to represent me in the chats or on a sales call like properly. Shadowing is the next phase. So once you quiz them, so I always finish every phase with an assessment, right? You do an assessment meeting, you quiz them on your offer and everything, and then you assess them on role playing them, like, are they good at what they do? And then you assess them on the logistics, like, do you know how to take an order? Do you know how to book a call? Do you know where to input your data, right? Then we go into shadowing, and there's 2 parts of shadowing. Shadowing, is usually first they shadow you, then you shadow them. And so for us, what we do is, by the way, the immersion phase is usually 1 to 2 weeks. It could be faster, it might be longer. I had a closer once take a whole month just to go through all my stuff. There's so much. But the shadowing phase is right here. It's pretty much to integrate them with the workflow, not just with the product. And so what you want to do is pretty much have them watch you first, pretty much how they should shadow you, closing 5 either calls or sales, right? Let's say you close sales, they're all closes. When you book a call for a setter, it's a close. I mean, close the call, close the sell on the phone, it's a close. I'm just calling it closes. So you pretty much want them to watch you do about 5 successful calls booked. Have them watch you in broker real time, take notes on what you're doing, test them throughout it so they make sure they're learning, and end each session, if you do it daily or weekly, whatever, with a Q&A so they can understand. Once they've seen you, it might take you 10, 15, 20, attempts to book 5 calls or 30 conversations to book 5 calls, whatever it takes. Make sure these 5 different ways of you doing it. Then you go into part 2 and you shadow them. So now you watch them do it and you don't interrupt. You know what I mean? And so what you do is you watch them do 5 closes until you're confident that they know how to do it and that they could do it without you. So that's where you go into assessing them again on right here. That's where you assess them, and you're going to be going over, make sure that they do it all right. And then you put them into probation. If you want to hire them, you put them in a 3-month probation. So I usually take 3 months. I don't give full commissions over here. So I give half commissions to everyone. And I'm like, look, if you last the 3 months and you're good, you earn your spot on my team and you get full commissions and bonuses and contests. And so we're really trying to weed out people that aren't really here for the long term. Like if they're not willing to wait 3 months to get paid full or wait 3 months and last 3 months, they're not going to be here long term. And I'm trying to find people that'll be with me for years. And then you also test their performance, right? They might not be that good. So you kind of want to make sure they are good before you keep them and start paying them full commissions. And then it's growth. So if they pass probation, we put them in growth. This is where you build a career with them, develop their talent, develop their, ability to train other people, and then become very valuable to you. Today, I have one closer that's been with me for years, and I have a setter that's been with me for almost a year. And I've gone through a lot of other people, but the ones that I did this with, it worked best. And the ones I didn't, they all left, right? One last thing I'll give you as a tip. I hope this is useful. It's just the 4 phases of it, like how you train people. Obviously there's so much more to go through. Like if I actually went through all this, like it would be like, 30-minute training, probably a couple hours of training alone. But I will give you one little tidbit before I hop off, which is the difference between training beginners and experienced. So this is what I'm giving you here is a guideline. What I believe is, the proper way to go through phases before you give someone a full spot on your team. For beginners, like this 4 phases is really designed for beginners, right? Because you want to take them through each phase so they can properly build skills, experience, and confidence. Hence why you're hand holding so much. Like first you're immersing them, then you're shadowing. I think all this should be done anyways, regardless. Like they should immerse to understand your product, believe in it, and understand what you do, no matter if they're experienced or not. The shadowing phase is more beginner-like. Like let me watch you, then you watch me, then I watch you. You know what I mean? Then I put you in probation. That's to test out, anyone that might waste your time. But when it comes to experienced people with a track record, it's more about testing culture fit in their character. Usually they're good. And in my experience, hiring experienced people is the best thing to do. I would go there if you can do that before you hire a beginner, because beginners cost money and time, but they stick loyal. They're more loyal long-term because you built it with them. You built them up. But experienced people, it's more about culture fit in their character. They might already know what to do and how to do it. They might need some training for how to do it your way, but other than that, they're usually really good. But you may need to negotiate different terms and pay with them. But overall, your goal is to make sure they still fit your culture. That's really the goal. They're not that the skill level is good. And you still want to build them up. So over here, you want to focus on offering growth opportunity to an experienced setter than a job, because usually experienced setters, they don't want another job because that's where they left the other place for. They want a career. And so it's like career usually encompasses them training people, getting paid on a team one day, or just going up to like teaching it, maybe being a coach in the program, stuff like that, if that is an opportunity. And so I've kept like good talent by giving career opportunities to people instead of just job opportunities. Does that make sense? And so yeah, the only difference is kind of with an experienced person, I usually don't do a probation for 3 months, but I would do it for at least the first month, because like they might take it insultingly because like they're good, but you still want to be like, well, I want to see if you want to earn a spot on my team. Like for 30 days, you get half commission, or a different thing that tests their commitment before they get a full spot, because you still want to test working with them, not just training them. And also the training phase, really, you just kind of want to shorten it everything, because for experienced people, they kind of already know what to do. So first, you would just want them to watch you go through the workflow and all the logistics and how you do stuff if it is different than what they do. Then you want to watch them do it once so that they get it, and that's pretty much it. Like it doesn't have to take 2 to 4 weeks, which a beginner would need. And so everything just shorter and more concise, and you're getting to the point. An experienced person is just easier because most of the stuff they should know already built in them if they have a good track record. So you just make sure that you guys like working with each other and it's a fit. That's it, and that they learn the logistics. But if you're trying to train a setter from the get-go, from someone who's going to be loyal to you and build them up, this is pretty much the 4 phases you got to take them through. It's a short video. I want to quickly to show you the phases so you're clear. If you're doing any of these things, or if you notice you weren't doing some of these phases, that's probably why you're not keeping setters, or you don't know where to start or develop talent. And then for people who have setters or want to train setters or get setters, build a team up, that's what Elite's for. And that's my mastermind program. And so when you come into that, we build this with you. We do this all with you. This is for Elite. Scaling your clients is the foundation we build before this, the prerequisite. So you could always comment down below or reach out to me wherever you're at and ask to DM me or ask me to DM you, and I will reach out to you, and we can get our team to look at your situation where you're at and see if what we have can work with what you have, so that you guys can scale past 100 grand a month. If you're already doing 20, 30 grand a month and you want to build a team. If you want help building a coaching business overall, and you're not at that 30 grand market and you want to get there first so you can start doing cool stuff like this, and as well, reach out to us before our prices go up, and we will get you on our calendar. calendar. We have a full pack calendar. If there is no spots, you would have to go on a wait list, and we will be canceling all the unqualified applications that come in. So we'll open some space for the most serious people. Love you guys lots. Go on to make the rest of your week the best of your week.